Hello and welcome to episode 6 of our conversation with Paterson Board of Education President Oshin Castillo and Vice President Nakima Redmon. I'm Paul Brubaker. I'm the head of the Communications Department of Paterson Public Schools. Just before the winter break, we decided to have a conversation with the board president and vice president as they come to the end of 2 years of being the first women duo to hold the board's top 2 leadership positions. This is the 6th episode of that conversation, and in this episode, we focus in on local control. This is it, the year 2020. If all goes according to plan, after being under state control since 1991, control of the Paterson Public Schools will be restored to the people of the city of Paterson. So what does that mean for the students and families of the Paterson Public School District? Board President Castillo and Vice President Redmon talk about it now. Do you want to talk about what the restoration of local control to this district will mean for the families who live here?
Yeah, I think it's going to be exciting because you get to control your budget. You get to control what comes into the school district. You get to have the final say of how your kids are being educated. No more can we blame the state. No more can we say they didn't give us. Now it's time for us to take and take ownership of it. So with local control, there's a lot of responsibilities. When I say a lot of responsibilities, we have to make sure that we don't go back to state control, because I've seen districts who have went back to local control and a couple of years later the state came back in to intervene. I think once people get the understanding of how money works in the district and how our budgets align to the education part of it, they'll realize that the tough decisions that we make is not always the best decisions, but we have to just make those tough decisions. And I would like to see younger people at the table, because I think when younger people come to the table, they'll understand what it means to be part of the fabric that makes the up-and-coming generation change. Because we can have ideas now, but we like to be inclusive and make sure that our students have a say. So I would love to see somebody that just graduated from Paterson Public Schools to come and run and be a board commissioner. It would be thrilling to see that, because you will see that they were really serious about how education played a role in their lives and stuff like that. So,
Absolutely.
So that's one of my goals, to see one of our young students come back and join the Board of Education, either by working or just being a board commissioner.
I think the next few months and looking into local control is exciting. It's very exciting. Thankfully, we've been a board that has gotten some leeway with the state, and we've been acting as a locally controlled board. I mean, we've been taking decisions, and we've been looking at things as if we were local control, and it's kind of been our training on what we would do. You know, it's like we were being taught how to walk while somebody's monitoring or making sure that we're there to hold on just in case that would fall. Come September, that won't be around anymore. It's time for us to walk by ourselves, and I think as exciting as it is, it's definitely difficult. Just as exciting, it's just as difficult, because there are responsibilities and there are decisions that are going to have to be made that aren't popular. And not necessarily that they're bad, they just might not be popular because it's difficult to understand. But we can no longer say the state did this or the state did that. No, we did it. And it's just as great as it is to be able to make the decisions to educate the students, is also difficult to make decisions when it comes to a budget. Because regardless of what we do moving forward, and I think that's one of the huge or the biggest misunderstanding is that, we don't have to pass a budget. That we can just be upset.
We are an elected body that has duties to do to pass a balanced budget.
Correct.
No matter how we like it, no matter what the decisions are, our duties are to establish a balanced budget. So, like you said, some of those challenges some of those things that are not popular, you're going to have to put your personal feelings aside and at the end of the day, make those decisions for those 28,000 students. It might not be what you want personally, but you have to put those aside. So again, I know we're coming up to that budget issues now, which I'm glad that we did it earlier, so we can give the public some knowledge about what we do and how we do it.
And it's just having them come out. It is important. Now, yes, we have been underfunded. Yes, we have to continue to advocate against that. Yes, we have to continue to go to Trenton, and we have to make sure that our Senate and our Assembly people understand, which thankfully we have great Assembly and Senate that have been working hard, but it's going down there and making sure that everyone understands the needs of the city of Paterson. And because of that diversity, it brings challenges as well, because everyone has different needs and our resources go in different directions. When you try to educate all children the exact same way and make sure they're having equal playing ground. But at the same time, in order for us to continue to move forward and make the great decisions, we also have to make decisions that are not very great, that are not very fun, that are not very comfortable to make. And regardless of what we do have to pass the budget, because I think the city has gotten so used to the board turning down a budget, knowing that the superintendent in the past or the previous administration can just veto and pass it anyway. And it was just a blame to the state. The board, it wouldn't look, the budget wasn't, what we wanted it to be. We voted no. The superintendent vetoed. They got a budget. It's the state's fault. We can't do that anymore. And if we don't pass a budget, the state will veto, but they'll also come back and take over again. And then where will we be? So we need to find new ways to build, to find revenue in the city, to think outside the box. What else can we do to bring money into Paterson? What else can we do? Would it be, selling buildings, getting new buildings, having different contracts, going out to bid, having people who necessarily want to donate to Paterson come and donate, looking for different grants. We have to go out of our way to make sure that we're giving our students what we need to give them, because there are some standards that the state has that is difficult for the city of Paterson, and it's the reality. Our citizens pay 42% of the taxes, when other municipalities, the taxes are about 90% of the budget. Ours is only 42%. Can we continue to tax the city of Paterson? No. Is it hurting our community?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But every other town, borough, or city in the state of New Jersey is held to the same standard, whether it's Newark, Jersey City, Elizabeth, Camden, same as Wayne, and Hackensack, and Teaneck, and Parsippany. So everyone's held the same standard. It's what are we going to do that is different, that is going to make sure that we bring in those resources. Because at the end of the day, we have to educate the 30,000 students in the city of Paterson, because they are all our students, whether they're at Paterson Public Schools, whether they're at Tech, or whether they're at a charter school. They're all our kids. They all come to the same bodegas, same laundromats, same playgrounds, and same restaurants. And we have to offer them the best that we can.
Local control is going to bring a new era into Paterson Public Schools, and it's great to have the president and vice president of the school board lay out the realities of what it will mean for Paterson families. The next episode is the last episode. We'll get some final thoughts from board president Oshin Castillo and vice president Nakima Redmon.